James and Ellen had a little house of their own, and they had a little boy, a tiny little fellow, at home, and they had Clarissa and Jenny. They were helpers at their house. And on this one particular afternoon, everyone was bustling around getting ready for expected guests the next day. The women were cleaning the house. Henry and Edson were raking the yard, and baby Willie, now he was 22 months old, almost 2 years old, he was playing about and having such a good time as everyone was busy helping. The rough board kitchen floor had been scrubbed, and a tub of dirty suds was left sitting in the middle of the room. As Jenny passed by on her way to gather some more supplies for cleaning the wood stove, she noticed the baby standing by the tub. "What are you doing, little Willie?" asked Jenny cheerfully. Sticky Bodie," said the little guy as he chirped. "I'm just pushing a little wooden pail around in the water with a stick." He was having so much fun. Jenny kept about her busy work. She stepped out of the room for a minute and back in. Coming back in, she thought of the baby. "Oh, Willie, where is he?" She looked around the kitchen. Willie. She heard a gurgling sound, and there was a foot sticking out of the pail of dirty mop water that had been left sitting in the middle of the kitchen, where he'd been pushing his little boat around with a stick. "Oh, no," she gasped. "Willie's drowned, he's drowned, he's drowned," she shrieked. She seized the little boy by the foot, and she screamed, "Call the doctor. He was in trouble." Then, cold little Willie, she dragged him out of the water, running through the house, calling, "Call the doctor, call the doctor. Run, run for the doctor." By this time, Mrs. White came running. She grabbed a pair of scissors in her hands, and she ran outside. She cut the little boy's clothes off very quickly and began rolling him on the ground. Dirty water came from his mouth and his nose. Oh, the neighbors gathered around. Mr. White came now, and he stood there praying. The little boy's dead. The neighbors said, "Take the little dead baby away from the lady." "Oh, no," said Mr. White. "She knows what she is doing. Let her alone." 20 minutes went by, and Mommy put a little kiss on the cheek. Maybe I should have chosen this story. Anyway, there was a flutter in his eyes. "He's alive. He's alive." And then they could see signs of life. "Heat some warm rags," said Mrs. White, "and wrap his cold little body in warm rags. He's breathing. He's breathing." "My baby is alive. Thank God. Thank God." I imagine she was crying too. Well, preparations for the visitors continued, but the greatest, happiest thing that had ever happened in the house had happened that day. Because of Jesus' power and Jesus' answer to prayer, he had brought the dead baby back to life. And the greatest, most wonderful day in all of history was because of a father's love and a father's power who brought his son Jesus back to life. Jesus laid down his life on the cross. He was laid in a tomb, and on the resurrection morning, all the world is thinking about it, Easter morning, tomorrow. We don't know exactly when, but we know it was springtime, and the angel from heaven came down, and he called Jesus back to life. He rolled away the stone, and Jesus rose from the tomb. And it's because Jesus is alive today that we have power and that we have the strength to live lives that prepare us for the home in heaven that Jesus is making for us. So remember, when you think about that little baby Willie and what Jesus did to give him life, Jesus has power to give us a new life of following him and living for him. So remember, Jesus is alive. It's the best news, and it is what gives us hope for a future out of this world of sin. You can go back to your seats.
Please turn with me to 1 Corinthians 20 through 23.